Hi, my name is Anna Juusala, and today I'm interviewing Sanna van Hellemondt from Holland, and she's talking about us with the visual merchandising and how it's much more than just displays. So Sanna is here with only the audio, so you will be watching my face while she's talking. How are you, Sanna?
I'm fine, thank you, Anna. So nice of you to organize this interview.
Thank you. So could you tell us a bit who you are and what you do, and a bit about your passions in retail?
Yes, of course. My name is Sanna van Hellemondt, and I've been working in retail for over 25 years now. I started at the department store De Bijenkorf in Amsterdam, and I started on the buying side there as a buying assistant. And what I noticed was that the whole buying part and the whole discipline of selling, everything was really well arranged, but there was this huge gap between the buying and the selling departments. And that really made me wonder, like, how do the buyers see their collections and their assortments in the stores? So I went into getting more information about this gap, and apparently that was called visual merchandising. That's, in my opinion, visual merchandising is the whole retail discipline that is actually between buying and selling. It starts with marketing and with the DNA of a brand, and then the whole translation of the assortment and the presentation into the stores. So that's what I started to do for the Bijenkorf for a couple of years. And then I went to Paris for 1 year, and when I came back, there was another company in Holland, the HEMA, who asked me to do the same for them. And then all of a sudden I had my own company, and so I've been working as a visual merchandising consultant for a lot of different brands and organizations in Holland, but also in some other countries.
Okay, interesting. I really like the idea of visual merchandising being the DNA of the brand. I think it's like in a really good package of telling the whole idea. So could you tell us a bit more about this, how the visual merchandising really is the whole meaning of the branding, and how it's just much more than just putting the items on display?
Yes, because that's when I started 25 years ago. Visual merchandising was actually only about windows and about display, only about the creative sauce that was put over the assortments. And I think that visual merchandising is the retail discipline where you could actually translate the concept of your brand. You can translate it and communicate this to your customers. Visual merchandising is actually the non-verbal way of communicating with your customer. Everything that's in your DNA, who you are, the messages that you want to send towards your customers with your store image, with your collections, with your service of the sales staff. Everything that is in your DNA, you can actually visualize in the stores with the tools that visual merchandising gives you.
That's excellent. My passion is to take the numbers with this and to really kind of like calculate and measure the effectiveness, and to show for the retailers that they really should put some efforts on the visual merchandising. And we met at this VM display fair, and you were there with this visual retailing. It's a Dutch product and company that they are providing these tools for visual merchandisers. Could you tell us a bit about that one?
Yes, I work as a consultant for Visual Retailing, the company in Haarlem, and they have some fantastic software tools to make visual merchandising into even a more effective discipline. They have, for example, a tool called Mockshop, and it enables you to build a virtual store and actually place your merchandise in it and load it with a lot of data which you can follow, and it's really fantastic. You could check it out on visualretailing.com.
Yeah, I can provide the link there so people can check it out.
Oh, very good. Yes. And I must say, Anna, I really liked your article where you talk about all the figures supporting the effects that you get from a good visual merchandising. Maybe you should put the link in this interview as well, because I really thought that was an interesting article.
Yeah, maybe I will put the link there as well so people can read how to do the measuring. So it's really useful for those who are not thinking about the figures behind the displays. So
exactly.
Thanks for mentioning that one. So do you have any other tips or ideas that you have seen that people are not quite like doing in a right way? As we have here in Finland, we have quite a problematic relationship with the visual merchandising. It's kind of like getting under the basic marketing and those tactics, and people are putting a lot of emphasis on the social media marketing and stuff like this, but they are kind of like forgetting that the
physical
stores.
Yeah, that's what I see happening here as well. It's sort of people sort of seem panicky about this omni-channel what's going on. Well, for the stores, Anna, I think there is a few things that I would like to talk about. First of all, there is what we spoke about earlier, is that the message and the concept and the DNA of your company should actually start, visual merchandising actually starts when marketing decides what the DNA is of a brand or an organization. Then it goes on to the buying or the category management. And that's where visual merchandising should already be part of the whole retail process. Because if you buy an assortment, the buyer should actually visualize what their collection is going to be like in stores.
Yeah.
If you don't do it at that stage of the retail process, but you wait until everything is bought and everything is sent off to the stores, and the visual merchandisers on the floor have to solve the problems, I think then you are not doing it in the right order. So one tip I would like to give is integrate visual merchandising as a discipline in your retail organization right in the beginning of the buying process. Make it part. And then, for example, a tool like Mockshop or another tool could really be helpful to visualize your collection before you send it off to the store.
Yeah,
that's one.
Great.
Then another tip is I've been working with a lot of retail organizations lately on an area where I think we could really gain profit. And that is in clustering your stores, especially for chains. So if you have more than, let's say, 10 stores, let's say you have a company with 50 stores, for example, then you could really gain by clustering your stores in size. What I see is a lot of assortment planning is done on budget and on history and on square meters, maybe, if you're lucky. And what I'm doing with a lot of companies is looking into the linear meters to see what the real available space is in the stores that you have. And then if you have your stores, for example, you have small, medium, large stores, and you also have small, medium, and large assortments, then you have building blocks, like a puzzle, that you can fit into each other, with the result that every assortment fits exactly into that store. And what I see now is often that one assortment is bought, one collection is bought, and it has a certain size. It consists out of 100 articles, for example, and it's sent to all the different stores, to the small stores, to the big stores. And I really think that organizations should look into clustering the stores and clustering the assortments.
Yeah, that's really good example, because I've also noticed that the retailers, they should, when they are doing the purchasing and budgeting and planning, they should already consider the marketing, of course, the overall marketing, but also the visual merchandising in the store already when doing the planning for the purchasing, because then you start thinking about the themes for the coming season and so on. So it's kind of like this whole that you are bringing together. So that's a really good example.
Exactly. You make the buying and the selling and everything, you bring it into a balance.
Yeah. And I'm actually going to Tallinn in Estonia to teach for the designers how kind of like the process is from the retailer's side, and this is something that I have to take into consideration when telling for the designers, that you have to think how you want your brand to be presented in the store. So it's kind of like both ways. It cannot start only from the retailers. You already should think that as a brand. So then that's where the DNA actually starts already. So more of the brands should start also consider the tactics of visual merchandising when they are doing their collections.
Exactly, because it's marketing, but also styling, which is even before the buyers start buying. The styling department should also think in visual merchandising terms.
Yeah, and also to start thinking about all the marketing materials and stuff like this already from the brand side. So really good, excellent.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there something more you would like to share? There is really great insights that you have already shared.
Yes, no, not really. I think this is it's so nice to be able to emphasize that visual merchandising is a really serious retail discipline, and it should be treated as such and not something that is in the end of the retail process and only consists out of window displays and displays in stores. I think that's really nice to emphasize that, and I hope I was clear about that.
Yeah, I think you made really precise and really nicely concise examples of how this should be.
Yes.
Thank you, Sanna.
All right, it was my pleasure, Anna, and thank you so much for this initiative.
Yeah, and I will provide the links for your LinkedIn profile. You are having some good articles on there, and so people who are willing to, they can check those out, and also your website link. So if someone is needing your help, they can know where to find you.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.